Every 40 seconds, someone over 60 gets hospitalized for a complication that started with inflammation, not an accident, not an infection they caught from someone, their own body quietly attacking itself from the inside. And the scary part, most of them felt fine the week before. That's how inflammation works. It doesn't announce itself. It builds, silently, for months, sometimes years, and by the time you feel something, you're already behind. But here's what I keep coming back to. There's a seed, tiny black, almost nothing to look at, and it contains a compound that has been put through over 80 randomized clinical trials. 80? Not blog posts, not opinions, published peer-reviewed medical research against inflammation, against bacteria, against blood sugar problems, liver damage, and cognitive decline. And the results? Honestly, they keep catching researchers off guard. The seed is Nigella sativa. Most people call it black seed. The oil from it contains something called thymoquinone. I won't get into the chemistry because that's not the point. The point is what it does. And what it does is the reason ancient Egyptians put it in the tombs of their kings, why healers on 3 separate continents used it for 2,000 years, and why modern labs are now confirming what those healers already knew. I've got 9 benefits to walk through, counting down from 9 to 1. And I'll tell you right now, number 1 is the reason everything else on this list actually works. You'll understand why when we get there. Let's go. Number 9, and this one is wild. There's a bacteria called H. pylori, Helicobacter pylori, lives in the stomach. The World Health Organization classifies it as a Class 1 carcinogen, same category as cigarettes, by the way, and roughly half of everyone alive right now is carrying it. Half. Most of those people will never know. No symptoms, no test, just a pathogen sitting in their stomach lining, doing slow damage. Standard treatment is harsh. Triple therapy, 2 antibiotics plus an acid reducer. The side effects make a lot of people quit before finishing the course. So researchers tried something different. In a small study, black seed was tested as a supportive add-on alongside an acid reducer, but H. pylori still requires standard medical treatment, usually antibiotics under a doctor's care. The interesting part is, it may help reduce inflammation while you're being treated. Then another group ran a longer trial, 8 weeks, checked who was still carrying the bacteria at the end. Placebo group, 45% still infected. Black seed group, 12.5%. And here's the part that antibiotics can't touch. The thymoquinone didn't just fight the bug. It calmed the inflammation the bacteria left behind, reduced the toxic byproducts. So you're not only clearing the infection, you're cleaning up after it. If bloating, acid reflux, or that heaviness in your stomach has been your normal for years, maybe it shouldn't be. Number 8. And I'll be honest, this one hit me differently, because it's the fear nobody says out loud. Memory. Researchers at a university in Bangladesh took 40 elderly volunteers, gave half of them 500 milligrams of black seed, twice daily, for 9 weeks. The other half got a placebo. At the end, the black seed group improved on logical memory, attention span, information recall. They even did better on something called the Rayos-Dirieth figure test. That's where you have to draw a complicated shape from memory. The differences were significant across the board, and their liver and kidney markers stayed perfectly clean. But it gets deeper than one study. A separate trial found that 4 weeks of daily black seed improved mood, lowered anxiety, and sharpened cognition. And in military personnel dealing with depression, adding black seed oil to their treatment raised something called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. That's okay, think of it like fertilizer. But for your brain cells, it helps grow new neurons and strengthen existing connections. Here's why that matters as you age. BDNF naturally declines, and that decline correlates directly with memory loss, slower processing, and higher risk of diseases like Alzheimer's. Thymoquinone has actually been studied against Alzheimer's models specifically. It restored learning function in cases of hippocampal damage. The hippocampus, that's your memory center. That's the first region Alzheimer's goes after, and this seed nudges BDNF back upward. I don't know why this isn't front-page news. Number 7. Okay, this is the everyday one. The one you feel when your feet touch the floor at 6 in the morning. Joints. You know that conversation your knees have with you when you stand up? That grinding negotiation where they say, "Not yet, give us a minute." Your fingers feel like they belong to someone 20 years older for the first half hour. You've been told it's just arthritis. Just take some Tylenol. Well, a crossover trial took 40 elderly patients, average age, 75, and split them. One group rubbed 1 milliliter of black seed oil on their knees, 3 times a day for 3 weeks. The other group took 325 milligrams of acetaminophen on the same schedule. The oil group reported more relief. An oil rubbed on the skin outperformed the most commonly used painkiller in the country in 75-year-olds, published research. And it's not even mysterious why. Tylenol blocks the pain signal. The inflammation is still there, you just stop feeling it. Thymoquinone works differently. It goes after the inflammatory messengers themselves. TNF-alpha, prostaglandins, the chemicals that tell your joints to swell. It interrupts that signal at the source. You're not masking the problem. You're actually addressing it. One more thing on joints. When you apply it at night, you're combining the anti-inflammatory effect with your body's natural repair cycle. Between about 10 p.m. and 2 a.m., your cells shift into recovery mode. So the timing isn't random. It's biology working with you instead of against you. Number 6. Sleep. Real sleep. Not the kind where you lie there reorganizing every bad decision you've made since 1984. A pilot study used polysomnography. That's the gold standard for measuring sleep. Electrodes on the brain, the full clinical setup, and tested thymoquinone-rich black seed oil on people with sleep issues. 7 days. That's it. Measurable improvements in sleep quality, efficiency, and how fast they fell asleep. A bigger trial backed it up. 90 days, double-blind, placebo-controlled. The black seed group slept better, reported less stress. And when researchers measured the actual hormones, cortisol was down, melatonin was up. Here's the mechanism. And it's one chain reaction most people never connect. Thymoquinone engages your GABA receptors. GABA is the brake pedal in your brain. It tells your nervous system to slow down. Heart rate drops. Thoughts stop racing. But here's the link. When chronic inflammation keeps cortisol elevated, cortisol physically blocks melatonin production. Your body cannot make the sleep hormone because stress hormones are in the way. Black seed reduces the inflammation, which lowers cortisol, which releases the block on melatonin. Remove one domino and the rest fall into place. That 2 a.m. ceiling staring? That's not a sleep problem. That's an inflammation problem wearing a sleep mask. Number 5. Blood sugar. Okay, before I get into this, let's pause for a second. I'm not a physician. I don't know your medical history. What I'm sharing comes from published peer-reviewed research. Use it as a conversation starter with your doctor. Bring this to your next appointment, because your doctor has maybe 15 minutes with you. That's not enough to cover everything. So walk in prepared. That's all I'm saying. Now, here's what the research actually shows. A systematic review, 17 clinical studies, concluded that black seed has, and I'm paraphrasing the medical language, highly significant blood sugar lowering activity. It improved fasting glucose, post-meal glucose, HbA1c, insulin resistance, and beta cell function. Those are the pancreatic cells that produce insulin. One specific 12-week trial, 2 grams per day, showed HbA1c dropping a full percentage point in the black seed group. Placebo dropped 0.2. That gap, that's the difference between managing diabetes and watching it slowly get worse. And the way it works isn't one simple trick. Thymoquinone increases glucose transporters in muscle tissue. That's how sugar actually leaves your bloodstream and gets used. It stimulates insulin secretion from the pancreas. It reduces glucose production in the liver, and it protects the beta cells from oxidative damage. That's the damage that eventually burns out your pancreas. Think of most diabetes medications. They do one thing, maybe two. This compound hits 4 different pathways, and one study found that when you combine thymoquinone with metformin, the combination outperformed metformin on its own, not replaced it, enhanced it. Number 4, blood pressure. And this is where the volume of research gets kind of staggering. A meta-analysis, 11 randomized controlled trials, 860 participants, found that black seed supplementation lowered systolic pressure by about 3.3 and diastolic by 2.8 millimeters of mercury. That's across all 11 studies. Now, 3 points doesn't sound dramatic on paper, but when you're talking about consistent reduction from a natural compound with no significant side effects, that adds up over time. A double-blind trial gave 70 adults either black seed oil or placebo for 8 weeks. Significant drops in both systolic and diastolic. Liver and kidneys unaffected. And then last year, the largest review to date came out. 82 randomized trials, over 5,000 people, confirmed the effect and identified what seems to be the optimal approach, about 3 grams per day for at least 12 weeks. How it works is actually elegant. Thymoquinone increases nitric oxide availability. Nitric oxide is the molecule that tells your blood vessels to relax and widen. More of it means less resistance, which means lower pressure, and simultaneously the anti-inflammatory action reduces the arterial stiffness that develops over decades. So you're not just treating the number on the monitor, you're addressing the rigidity underneath it. Number 3, your liver. And this is the benefit most people have zero awareness of. 1 in 4 adults right now has non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. 1 in 4, no symptoms, no pain, nothing until it's far along. Your liver just quietly accumulates fat, and its ability to filter toxins, regulate cholesterol, and manage blood sugar erodes in the background while you feel totally fine. A double-blind trial. 60 patients with confirmed fatty liver. 3 months. The black seed oil group saw liver fat visibly reduce on ultrasound. ALT-ET. That's a direct liver damage marker. Dropped 33% versus 14% in the placebo group. AST fell. Triglycerides fell. LDL cholesterol dropped. HDL went up. A meta-analysis of 4 separate trials confirmed it across all major markers. No adverse effects. And here's what I found genuinely interesting. Thymoquinone inhibits an enzyme called HMG-CoA reductase. That's the exact same enzyme that statin drugs target. Same mechanism, different source. It also activates AMPK, your body's metabolic master switch. When AMPK turns on, your body shifts from storing fat to burning it, including the fat parked in your liver cells. Now, I need to pause here because this matters a lot. Not all black seed oil is the same, and most people get this wrong because the industry makes it almost impossible to tell good from garbage. If you're spending $8 on a bottle, you're probably buying something extracted with heat. Heat gets more oil out faster, more profit for the company, but it destroys the thymoquinone, the active compound, the thing doing all the work. You end up with something that smells right and does nothing. What you want, cold-pressed, organic, and the label should list thymoquinone content between 1 and 5%. If it doesn't mention thymoquinone at all, that tells you everything. The color should be deep amber to dark brownish green. If it's pale and watery, it's been over-processed, and the taste, there should be a peppery burn in the back of your throat. That burn is the thymoquinone. You actually want it. 3 things: cold-pressed, organic, thymoquinone-verified. If any one of those is missing, save your money. Number 2, weight. And look, I get it. You hear weight loss and you immediately get skeptical. Fair enough, but the data is there. A 2023 meta-analysis found that black seed supplementation led to an average loss of about 1.5 kilograms, roughly 3.5 pounds, with a BMI reduction of 0.5, 8 over 6 to 12 weeks. Is that a transformation? No, but it was consistent, repeatable, statistically significant. A crossover trial in overweight women, 2,000 milligrams daily for 8 weeks, showed drops in body fat mass, visceral fat specifically, and leptin. Leptin is the hunger hormone. When it normalizes, your brain gets a clearer signal that you've eaten enough. You stop reaching for things you don't actually need. So what's the dosage the studies used? 1 to 3 grams of ground black seed per day, or 500 to 2,000 milligrams of the oil. Most trials went 8 to 12 weeks minimum. You can mix it with raw honey in the morning, genuinely makes it easier to get down. Or just go capsule form if you don't want to deal with the taste. The oil is slightly more concentrated because thymoquinone is fat-soluble. Start low, half a teaspoon of oil, once a day, on an empty stomach. Build up over a couple of weeks. Your body will tell you how it's adjusting. And honestly, the weight part is almost a side effect. What's happening underneath? Lower insulin resistance, less systemic inflammation, better lipid profile. That's the real shift. The scale just eventually catches up. Number 1, and I put this last because without this, nothing else on the list really holds up. Your immune system. After 60, something quiet happens. Your thymus gland sits right behind your breastbone, starts shrinking. It's where your immune cells go to get trained. As it shrinks, T-cell production drops. You catch things more easily, recover slower, wounds take longer to close. That's not fear-mongering. That's basic immunology. It happens to everyone. Now, most supplements either stimulate the immune system or suppress it. One direction. Black seed oil does something unusual. It modulates. If your system is underactive, it pushes it up. If it's overactive, autoimmune territory, it helps dial it back. That balance is extremely rare in a natural compound. A randomized placebo-controlled trial showed that subjects on black seed oil had measurably more active and responsive immune cells. Their blood work told the story clearly. But here's the layer underneath that. Chronic low-grade inflammation, which is almost universal in people past 55, doesn't just cause problems on its own. It actually suppresses the immune system over time. Picture an engine running at red line, day after day. Eventually it burns out. By calming that background fire, black seed oil frees the immune system to do its actual job, protect you. Thymoquinone also inhibits NF-kappa B. That's the master switch for inflammation in the body. And it promotes apoptosis, the process where damaged or abnormal cells destroy themselves. Your body does this naturally, it's housekeeping. But the system gets sluggish as we age. Thymoquinone keeps it sharp, and there's a respiratory layer to this too. A trial of 80 asthma patients, 500 milligrams twice daily, 4 weeks showed significant improvement in lung function and symptom control. The compound relaxes smooth muscle in the airways and has direct antihistamine properties. If you deal with seasonal allergies, chronic cough, tightness when you breathe, this isn't just immune support. It's your lungs getting help from the same bottle. 2,000 years of traditional use, 3 continents, over 80 published clinical trials, and a small dark bottle that costs less than most of the supplements gathering dust in your cabinet right now. Tell me in the comments which of these 9 surprised you the most, because I promise someone else watching right now needed to hear exactly that one, and your comment might be the reason they try it tonight. The video on your screen right now connects directly to what we just covered. Click it, I'll see you there.